It's Friday, and I want to know what's on your mind. This is a show about real people, real issues, having a real conversation every Friday. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and get you guys introduce
Hey
yourself.
everybody, my name is Kenny Williams Jr. I'm a pop culture writer for Blavity, the outlet that covers Black news on Black millennials and Black stories. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kenny. All right. And you, Danielle?
Danielle. I'm a director and writer, and I'm happy to be here as well. Currently, I'm working on a few projects, working on a feature that I wrote last year in post, actually. But yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Do you think there are any circumstances where juvenile offenders should receive life sentences? Let's jump in and discuss.
I would say no, because that's a really hard question. To me it's hard because it just depends on the circumstances, but I guess in general I would say no, because I feel like it already is shown, like there's facts saying how like the brain is not even like fully developed until someone's 25. So when you're a kid, and a lot of kids can grow up in extreme circumstances.
Yeah.
And I think that especially like if they're under the age of 18, then they should get a second chance.
Awesome. Good. What do you think?
You don't know what kids are going through. You don't know what a juvenile person is going through to make them do certain things. You don't know what type of environment they grew up in. You don't know what has affected them. You don't know what triggers them. So I would just say, I don't know. But what I will say is that I think that we should have a society that invests in more mental health counseling and more programs and resources to help, people in that age range who are juveniles, deal with certain things, because it might prevent certain situations.
Right. What if you read something in the news where you came across where you saw that a juvenile was like almost like a serial killer?
No, not a serial killer. I personally haven't, but just to say also what Kenny was saying, like one thing that really impacted me was this Antonia Brown documentary that I watched. It was like spoke a lot about her circumstances and the mental health running in her family. So it's like, I think that one thing specifically we have to do better in the justice system, especially when dealing with juveniles, is look at the entire picture instead of just what they did. Like because there's a lot of things that happened in her life that were illegal. So it's kind of like, when you think about that and what puts people in that mindset and what circumstances they end up, that push them into being, breaking the law, it's like a lot of things were done to her before she even did anything. So I just think like
and that might have triggered for her to do what she was doing.
Right. And she might have not seen anything as being wrong, but
right.
It's really just kids, children it's like learned behavior, and a lot of it is shown by like what they grow up in. So I just feel like giving people a chance when they may not know better is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, going off of that, I think we live in a society that when it comes to children or teenagers or preteens or tweens, if you will, Gen Z, whatever the term is for young people these days, I think we live in a society that places blame on them. But I would like to see us placing blame on the factors that lead to them making these decisions. Because people, these kids or teens or whatever, they don't just wake up, I'm sure, one day saying, hey, I want to go commit this crime or I want to do that. Let's look at what led them to that. Let's have a society where we address those issues and combat those. Because I feel like we need to attack the issues and not the person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And well, this country in general, I believe, hasn't done enough for mental illness. I live here in California, and it's sad. I don't know if you guys, what side of the country you guys are on?
I'm from Detroit.
You're Detroit? And
I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in Los Angeles, so you know about, I was going to mention Skid Row and what happens there. And
100%, yeah.
Yeah, just very, very, very sad.
It's all connected, like you can't talk about homelessness without talking about mental health, without incarceration. Like a lot of it is linked.
Right. Yeah, definitely. All right. Would you consider replacing a human limb for yourself or a loved one with a regenerated human limb instead of an artificial limb?
Oh, I love this question because it's really giving me X-Men vibes and things like that. But I would honestly pick the option, whether that is regenerative. Sorry, my words are
regenerative limb.
Yeah, regenerative limbs or whatever is like whatever is the most helpful, whatever is the most efficient, whatever is the most essential for them. Because I don't want to give them an option that is just gonna, pollute the entire body or collude it with toxins and things like that. So whatever at that time is more scientifically efficient, that's what I'm going for. And I'm one of those people, like, I like to look at the steps in the future, or like, plan B, plan C, or plan D. Because you have to play the long game with things like this. Because there are some options that might, kill off the family member within an hour of having it or within a year. So whatever is the most efficient, whatever makes sense.
Right. Do you think there's an ethical or moral standard in choosing either one? Or does that even play a role? Would that even play a role in your decision? Or are you strictly to what's functional at that time?
Well, so I will say that I don't think that we should play God. I think
absolutely.
I think that's important. I don't think that's our responsibility. It's not my responsibility, or it's not on me to play God. But in the same sentence or same breath, if it's a loved one, I'm honestly going to want to do what makes the most sense and what's going to be the most efficient. So I think it's toting that line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think, Danielle? This may be...
I would probably not make that decision for someone else, I think. Like, it would be hard for me. Like, I guess the only time I would be is, like, if it was, like, for my child. I guess, like, I think, like, maybe. But, and it depends on, like, the age. I think there are a lot of factors that would, like, be my decision. But off top, I would say if it's reliable technology that has really evidence that it does work and that there's not major, side effects. I would consider it if it would help me, like, keep working or keep doing what I need to do. But I'm also, like, all for, like, I'm one of those people who believes that there's no coincidences and everything happens for a reason. So I think that, like, the most crazy things end up being blessings sometimes. So I think that there's a lot to learn, and there's people that have come before us that have been able to, like Stevie Wonder, like you able to do just fine with having handicapped, but yeah, I guess for me, it would depend a lot, but I guess I would be open to it if I saw, like, large benefits, but am also to the point where, like, I kind of don't put, like, I would be open to also just seeing what it shows up in, like, my life, like how,
or what are you saying? What type of body part that would possibly need this? Is that what you're saying?
I guess, I mean, it just depends. I mean, yeah, for me, I probably would not do it, depending. I'd be more geared at not doing it because I don't really like manipulating anything in terms of my body. So I probably would, it would be like the last resort for me personally.
Yeah. And is there any, like I was asking Kenneth, is there any moral, ethical reasoning also that you would put behind your decision, or again, it's just about functionality?
It's, for me, it's like, it's similar to what Kenny said. Like, I don't think we should play God. I think that when we start doing that, we put ourselves in danger. And there's something to be said about kind of taking what comes to you and making something beautiful out of it. So, because then it's like, if you do that, there's plenty of people who maybe don't do that. And then what are you saying to those people who actually did the work and tried to keep themselves functioning in society? So I don't know, for me, it's personally, I would probably not do it unless there was like big reason.
Yeah. All right, here's something fun. What would your personal mascot or spiritual animal be if you had to choose?
For me, I think and it's my logo too. Kind of like I love butterflies.
Oh, butterflies.
I've
Okay.
always been like, and I mean butterflies aren't animals, but I
Well,
guess I had to pick something that was like I think it would be a butterfly because I just have always been so attracted to them since I was young. Like they're just so free and they just they pop up in the most beautiful moments, it seems like for me. And
yeah.
they are a sign of hope to me and I like them a lot.
Yeah.
So.
And they have so many wonderful colors, right?
Yeah.
Oh
They're very
God.
unique. Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I see a butterfly, I would say like, for me, I feel something.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Kenneth? A mascot or a spiritual animal?
I would say mine would be a cheetah. You know.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Explore and tell us why.
Yeah. Cheetahs are so fast. They're so sleek. I think that cheetahs move in a way that I don't know. It's just so cool. Like they move fast, but they move at their own pace. Like speed is their pace, and it's faster than everybody else's. But
Yeah.
it's just normal for them, and I just love that about cheetahs. I love how sleek they are. I love how cool they are. How sneaky they can be. I love how just fierce they are. Like there's a certain sexiness about cheetahs. You know, if there's any animal that can be sexy, it's a cheetah. So that's what I would pick.
With those responses, how does those animals reflect within your personal life and what you do and the person that you are?
I would say for me, relating to a cheetah, I move. You know, I move how I move. Like I move at the beat of my own drum. Like you know, and I'm an only child, so I guess I'm used to just doing things at the beat of my own drum, just doing things that are beneficial to me in a way. But
Yeah.
I move stealthily. I move, strategically. I have to think about every single move from point A to point Z, and then another round of A to Z, and then another round after that.
Yeah. Good. Love that. What about you, Danielle? How does a butterfly encompass your life?
For me, I guess I always love how free and curious butterflies seem. Like they seem to always be going and kind of like flowing from place to place. And they're very, like when I think of butterflies, I think of exploration. And I'm someone who's very curious about the world. I'm very open-minded. I like to learn about different things. But also I think like also the way that it transforms and is able to come out of a cocoon and then like be able to kind of become this like
a brand new being, right?
Yeah, like a brand new being. And for me, like I am pretty resilient as a person. I'm able to like kind of get up after I've been down pretty fast, and that's taken time, but that's something that I also feel like could be representative.
In wrapping up the show, are there any words of encouragement that you would like to share with our audience? Anyone can jump in and provide.
Yeah, I would say that, whoever is watching, whoever is paying attention, just believe in yourself. We're in a pandemic. This year is not shaping up to what any of us thought that it would be. Like everyone had to change at least something around. So give yourself grace. Rest in the fact that this is something that you can't control and that you're doing the best that you can do. And that's okay. A lot of people will tell you that you're not doing enough, that you're doing too much or whatever, but you have to ignore the noise and you have to listen to yourself. And like I said before, just give yourself some grace. It's okay.
Oh, right. I love that. Oh, what about you, Danielle?
Yeah, I mean, what Kenny said is great. I think this year presents an opportunity that it depends on how people look at things. I would say like this year presents an opportunity because we've had to kind of shed a lot of the things that we typically rely on. I think this year presents an opportunity to grow, but to also find peace in places that you may not have found peace before. I think this year is about being conscious, about also being able to look within ourselves and spend more time reflecting on where we are in our life, where we want to go, and what matters. So I guess I would say for people like who are watching, exactly that. Like, don't give up. Keep going. Try to think more internally instead of like being influenced by what's going on around you, because it's, even for me, like I've had to disconnect a lot because I'm not able to like move forward with the same momentum that I usually am if I just like focus on what's going on all the time. And not saying like be ignorant, but not only letting that be what's kind of coming into your eyes and your ears. Like, try to make sure that you're spending time in peace and creating peace. And I always say this, like, if it costs your peace, it's too expensive. Like, if you're listening to the news every day and like that's costing your peace, like, don't do that, like, because it's not worth it. And if you're a person who's spiritual, like, that's not, whatever you hear on the news is not going to most likely change what you need to do. So the way I feel is like, you know, you don't need to focus on that all day. Cause like, honestly, the narrative this year in terms of like what the news has been like insanely negative, and
totally
to the point where it's like disrupting a lot of people's way of life. Well, I mean, everything's been disrupting people's way of life, but also their mental health. And like, that's something to me that is always to be prioritized. So
absolutely. And where can people find you on social media if they want to connect?
So my Instagram is Danielle, DANIELLE M Boyd, BOYD. And like, if you type that in, you even into Google, you'll find my website as well.
Awesome. Yeah. What about you, Kenneth? Where can they find you?
Yeah, my Instagram is Kennyonce. I'm a big Beyonce fan.
Okay,
so it's spelled it's spelled KENNYONCE. And you can find me on Twitter at Sir SIR _ Kenneth with 2 H's. So KENNETHH.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you guys for being on our show, What's on Your Mind. Please tell everyone about our YouTube channel. Have them subscribe, share, and comment. We truly thank you for taking the time out to talk to us. And I will be in touch soon to let you know when your episode will be posted. All right?
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.